All right, man. Let's talk about it. We got the George Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez recap. I will say this might have been, I'll say probably the biggest upset of the year, at least in big fights, right? I'm trying to think what other big fight was this kind of an upset where it was a championship fight, a unified champion. Um, he was Cambosis. I think he was like a plus 900. You're not seeing those type of odds for most in most upsets, right? That were championship fights. I'm trying to think, man. I don't know if we have one of those, but man, this was a hell of a fight. Uh, Teofimo, man. He tricked me, bro. He fucking tricked me, man. I can't believe I let him trick me. And it's not even more so him. I'm blaming Lomachenko. And Lomachenko, you know you're my guy, but you let him trick me, bro. You let him trick me, man. I really thought Teofimo was the goods, man. Oh my god. I was fooled. I've been bamboozled. I've been hoodwinked. Oh, he lost to George Kambosos at home. And it hurts even more because he's from New York. He's from my city. He's from my city. He let that Australian, that Aussie come over here to our city and take his belts. It's just all around disappointing. Um, he's from one of the main boroughs. It's not even like if he was from Staten Island or he was from Long Island, I would have been like, you know what? All right, cool. I could live with that. But you from Brooklyn, my bro. I'm not even gonna call you my bro. You're not my bro after that loss. Disappointing, but let's really get into the fight, right? So this is where Teofimo really messed up in this fight, and it didn't even happen as soon. It started physically in the fight, but he was too emotional going into the fight, right? And that's the last thing you wanna be going into a fight. You wanna be able to keep your composure, stay calm, weather the storm, and everything like that, right? And I think I heard this during the fight. I didn't actually hear him say it, but they said that he said it. And they said Teofimo said to put I think matter of fact I think they said it in the fight meeting. They said he said put money on the first round knockout, and in the first round it's like he damn near emptied his load trying to get the stoppage, right? Now he was dominating. It's crazy because he was dominating that first round, and then all of a sudden towards the end of the round he gets caught with a nice right hand by Cambosis and gets put on his fucking ass. And that stole a round right there, man. He lost that round for sure. I saw the scorecards. Some judges, two of the judges, I think they had it a 10-9 round for Cambosis instead of 10-8. And if you're like, and I'm pretty sure the reason for that, I'm wolfing crazy. The reason for that is he Teofimo pretty much dominated the first round. Like there was no way in hell Cambosis was gonna win that round unless he scored a knockdown. Like that's how comfortably he was leading the round. So I'm not too mad at that. Me personally, I would have scored it at 10-8. Just because it's not like yeah he was in control of the round, but it's not like Cambosis wasn't landing any punches, right? Like he was landing a punch, he landed quite a few punches, but it just wasn't to the effect of what Teofimo was hitting him with. He came out throwing nothing but bombs, right hands, left hooks. He was throwing the kitchen sink, jabbed a few times, to the gut and everything like that. He jabbed a few, he jabbed a bit, but mostly he was throwing haymakers at that boy in the first round. He didn't get him out of there, but like I said, he got dropped. Now I'm gonna be totally honest. This was a fight that I scored in my head, right? So I usually I be on my little app, I could what is it called? Fight score? Something like that. Let me give him some promo, man. It's called the fight. Yeah, it's called Fight Score, man, on your Google Play Store or your App Store, man. That's how I usually keep track of the rounds. But I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna keep these off the top of my head. I might have gave Cambosis four of the first 6 rounds. I think I gave him four of the first 6 rounds. Or yeah, I think I gave him five. Matter of fact, I gave him 5 of the first 8 rounds. And if you include the knockout, that lets you know he's way far ahead. Teofimo, he did bounce back in the fight. He did will himself back into the fight. He scored a knockdown of his own. Um, man, but like just thinking about how he scored that knockdown, he didn't put Cambosis away, which is crazy, bro. Uh, and that's what separates, I'll say, the good fighters or the very good fighters from the great and the special, man. You get somebody hurt the way Teofimo had Cambosis hurt, you end that show, man. You know what they say about Terrence Crawford and why he's special? They say he's the best finisher. He's the best finisher in boxing. Maybe you could say a Canelo, but man, Terrence Crawford on what, like a 8 KO streak. So you can't say anything about him finishing his opponents, right? But Teofimo, this is where Teofimo I want to talk about, because yeah, we seen the fight. Cambosis was landing a whole bunch of combinations on Teofimo. He was putting his punches together. He countered Teofimo, like he countered Teofimo lovely this fight. And it's crazy because when you really look at it, when I saw the weigh-in out, when I saw the weigh-in, they were standing face to face. I'm like, George Kambosos is taller than Teofimo. I didn't realize he was definitely taller than Teofimo, but Teofimo's a lot bigger, and you can see that in the ring, right? Teofimo probably rehydrated to maybe at least one somewhere around 145 to 150, somewhere between there. So he came in pretty big, and there's rumors that he's been struggling to make weight. So this was, but when I actually considered all of that, I'm like, it's still not enough, man. I seen Cambosis fight versus Lee Selby, seen his fight versus Mickey Bay. Those were really close fights that he barely won, right? So you're like, there's no way in hell he could beat a Teofimo. But like I said, man, Teofimo came in there with the wrong game plan. It was too aggressive. If he would have boxed and boxed patiently and let the shots and set his shots up and let them come to him, he would have. I think he would have got Cambosos out of there. I really think if they was to rematch, he probably gets him out of there. But this was a mandatory fight, rematch clause. Gotta move on to the next one, man. He probably should have moved up to 140 before taking his fight. But for some reason, I guess him and Cambosis had colluded to get this bag, right? And that's what fried him in the end, man. He might have moved up, but him and Cambosis colluded with Triller to get the bag, do a mandatory fight to get the bag. It ended up falling out with Triller, and the zone picked it up. They were they had the second highest bid and whatnot, but man, just it's really sad to see, man. This is it, and this should be a really humbling experience for Teofimo Senior as well. We all see how he be getting rowdy, right? But after the fight, my man's was humble as hell. Um, but not so much Teofimo, right? This guy Teofimo, after the fight, he said he won 10 rounds. Huh? 10 rounds where? What? Like, this guy was clearly delusional, and that's what I said. If you guys see my Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa recap, Figueroa thought he was robbed in his fight versus Fulton. And at least he probably has a way better case than Teofimo, man, talking about he won 10 rounds to 2. And all that reminded me of was Adrian Broner versus Pacquiao when he lost that fight and he got up talking crazy, man. I got some audio of it. Let's play this classic Adrian Broner post fight interview in the ring.
Bring your motherfucking ass over here. I got a lot to say. We're gonna conduct this professionally. You make the decision. Not to fight. I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him.
Exactly.
I the fight. He was missing. I hit him 3 more times. I beat him.
I beat him. Yo, Adrian Broner sick. Teofimo, you're sick too, boy. You did not win that fight. Honestly, I had Cambosis. But I will say this, though. He did battle back. He showed a little bit of a fighting spirit. He had a big gash over his cut. He still didn't let that deter him from coming back. But honestly, that fight was close to Teofimo coming back and scoring a draw, right? I think that 12th round, if he could have possibly eked out that 12th round. Let me see. I forgot what the judge's scorecard was, but I think 2 of the judges, one judge had him winning. One judge had him from winning. One had Cambosis slightly ahead. And let me go see the other one, man. We're gonna see that scorecard, right? And I think another one had a 115, 113, I think. Let's take a look see. Let's see. So we had 115, 112 Cambosis. We had it. Oh, okay. So Yeah, and they actually scored that at 10-9 for Kambosos. All right, we had a 115, 112 Kambosos, 115, 111 Kambosos, and 113, 114 Teofimo. So no, actually, even if he gets that round 12, the two other judges don't give him the two other judges don't give him doesn't make this a draw. So he needs to definitely bite down in the last two rounds, take those rounds forcibly and easily. He didn't do that. He lost the fight. Well, it's interesting to see where he goes from here. But one thing I want to say, I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan. I like Haney's cool to me. Ryan Garcia, they're cool to me. Um, but let's like I don't like what they doing, right? So as soon as Teofimo loses that belt, all of these guys start talking about, oh, I want to fight Cambosis. Oh, I want to fight Cambosis. Now, Shakur, I heard you say you wasn't planning on moving to 135 for at least another 2 years or so. Um, Devin Haney been owed the undisputed fight. Teofimo should have never ducked that, man. You would have got way more money to lose versus Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia, he was ducking Devin Haney when he was his mandatory. He had plenty of opportunities to fight him, and I definitely never heard him call out Teofimo Lopez. So let's take a look at some of the things these guys were talking about. Let's see where his tweets was. We're gonna go through Shakur tweets first, right? Shakur, look, they're buttering Cambosis up, right? He says, "Yo, Cambosis." He writes him on Twitter. He says, "Yo, Cambosis, beautiful work, champ. You look great. I would love a shot at them belts if you're down." Like I said, Shakur, I never heard you call out Teofimo. I did hear you say you would fight him down in the future, but you wasn't calling for that fight when you wasn't calling that for that fight right now. But you want to fight Cambosis. I gotta give you a little bit of crap for that, right? And he it's actually funny because he wrote his next tweet, he said, "Gotta put my bid in," and put the laughing emojis. He says, "So now can I enter the conversation of the four kings?" Laugh out loud. Nah, I'm good. I don't want it. I'd rather stand alone. Now let's go to Ryan Garcia, right? Mr. Capper himself. Let's go to Ryan Garcia tweets. He said respect to Cambosos for the handshake at the end. I don't care about that. During the fight, he said, "Don't rob Cambosis." All right, now he said my return fight, I'll fight Cambosis. I never heard you say you want to fight Teofimo in your return fight, right? All right, so let's get that out. He said, "Master respect to Cambosis for that performance. Honestly, you deserve it, and all love. Go celebrate." Look at these guys. Look at these guys, man. Like, come on, bro. And he actually tweeted because I guess this was after Teofimo was making all the excuses in the world. After even though he criticized Wilder for doing that, but I ain't gonna say too much about that. He said, "I don't like this from Teofimo." Now let's go to Devin Haney, right? This is the guy who really deserves it. He's been calling for all these top guys at 135 for a minute now. He's been calling for Lomachenko, for for Ryan Garcia, for Teofimo Lopez. So, and Teofimo's arguably, well, it was disputed, undisputed. He was a disputed, undisputed. And he says, let's see where it goes. Where it starts right here, right? Says, "I hope it all makes sense now. Teo was a fucking fraud." Said, "Congrats, George Kambosos, well-deserved victory. You worked hard for it. Let's make it happen for all the belts." Now, honestly, that probably makes the most sense. For Cambosis, I think Devin Haney would probably have to go over to Australia for that fight. They'll probably do big numbers, they'll get the bag, man. I'm not gonna lie, them Aussie support, man. I seen Tim Tszyu last fight, and he's not even a big star yet. But I don't remember what venue it was, but he packed that out. It was Tim Tszyu versus anyway fight, right? So that's definitely a big fight. I'm pretty sure they could do 20,000 for undisputed, whatever big arenas there are in Australia. And then another fight that I think is sneaky. I don't think Gervonta has said anything about it. At least not on Twitter. He hasn't wrote anything on Twitter. I could check IG. But Gervonta versus Cambosos. After Gervonta fights Isaac Cruz, you already know he's in line to be a mandatory for the WBA. Since they're getting rid of all those belts, he's gonna be the regular, which will also set him up to potentially be the mandatory, right? and that's another big fight that makes sense. The only thing I don't know is if that would work, because I feel like Gervonta wouldn't want to travel to Australia for that fight, and I'm pretty sure Cambosis is gonna want to bring that fight to Australia. But Cambosos versus Tank is likely on pay-per-view. Is likely a pay-per-view fight, and I'll probably say it's a bigger money-making fight than Devin Haney per se, right? Because we all got three unification right there with Tank, a guy who's already been doing 200K pay-per-view buys, and he's not even fighting. I would say the upper echelon of competition. He's fighting decent competition, but he's not fighting the upper echelon of competition like the Teofimos, the Devin Haneys, the whoever you could think of at 140. He's not gonna. He doesn't. There's no plans on him fighting. There's no plans on him fighting like a Josh Taylor or anything on of that nature, right? You know what Floyd said. We're gonna keep everything in house. So that means he's pretty much looking to just be on the PBC side. But I think that's definitely a fight that can potentially happen, because I don't think Cambosis is tied to particularly any network per se, right? Yeah, he's under Lou DiBella, and I think I've looked at it, right. I was looking at a few of his fights like that. I think the Mickey Bay fight was on Top Rank. I think that was a Top Rank fight. Then I think who was it? Lee Selby was that a DAZN fight? Was that a DAZN fight? And then there was a Matchroom fight. I can't remember. I can't remember which all the fights of which networks they was on, but they were all different. It was all different platforms. So I don't think Cambosis is necessarily tied to a network. So if Showtime was to offer him the bag, do a pay-per-view here in America, who knows? Maybe he turns it down. Whatnot? Who knows, right? But that's definitely a big fight that can happen. And I'm just interested to see what happens from here, man. For Teofimo, for Cambosis, man. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely had to eat some crow. I bet that the fight would go under 8.5 rounds, and that's because I thought Teofimo would get him out of there early, bright and early. And honestly, that's why I don't like betting on high odds, right? So like I don't like messing with the -200s, the -250s, 300s. Like if it's not -150 or higher, like close to even money or plus money, that's not a bet I really want to do. I'd rather take the value. I'll risk losing if I'm getting great value on the bet. And unfortunately, that didn't happen today. Teofimo Lopez looked a little sluggish. Uh, just looks just real flat-footed, man. That lets me know, bruh. I don't think he beats. At first, I thought he beats Haney. If he does have any chance against Haney, it's probably his best chance is at 140, where he's probably more so a natural 140 guy, and not at 135 for sure. Devin Haney is outboxing him at 135. I don't even think he could. I don't think he did a great job of tagging up Cambosis as much as I thought he would. Cambosis kind of took his power. That was the shocking thing to me. Cambosis took his power for the most part. Like even though he did even though he did drop him once and he hurt him a few times, he took his power for the most part. He was able to survive multiple rounds where he seemed to be stunned or hurt, which is crazy to me. But yeah, Devin Haney, Lomachenko. I think those guys beat Teofimo if he stays at 135. Like I said, I don't know how Lomachenko didn't beat Teofimo, man. If only he let his hands go for the first 6 rounds of the fight. I never seen Lomachenko be that conservative. And then if he did that, he wins the fight. Likely, it's like I'll probably say it was an 85% chance he wins that fight if he just lets his hands go in the first couple rounds, doesn't give the first 5 rounds away to Teofimo, right? But with that being said, man, I don't know if there's much more to talk about on this topic. Man, Teofimo, man, that's why you can't mess up the bag, bro. Like that's the bad part about marinating fights, is that if you lose this fight, now it devalues the fight down the line, right? You might lose a potential A side. So let's say Devin Haney. Let's say Devin Haney fights Cambosis next and is for undisputed. That only boosts Devin Haney. You know, a lot of people like to do the triangle theory, where it says if you beat this guy, well, if Devin Haney beats Cambosis, that means there's no way in hell Teofimo would have beat him. I don't really like to do that, but that narrative gets pushed, and that also devalues you a little bit, right? In the sense that, yeah, you lost him. I just beat him. I'm undisputed now. My bag is only going to increase. That moved me up in the pound for pound rankings. You're dropping. Teofimo easily drops out the top 10 with this one. Then that might have hurt Lomachenko too in the pound for pound because you lost to this guy. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see where Cambosos actually, if Cambosos creeps into maybe a top 15, maybe a top 20 in the pound for pound rankings after a win over Teofimo. We could talk about that too with Stephen Fulton, where he goes from here as well. Um, Man, it was just it's just a great night of boxing, a great sports week, man. We had some good Thanksgiving games, some good college football games today. Man, my house they broke my heart today. But other than that, man, all in all, a good weekend. Hopefully, we get to enjoy some NFL tomorrow, and then next week we got Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz. Hopefully, I'm praying, man. Hopefully they don't. JoJo doesn't shake up the boxing world and pulls the upset off on Devin Haney. That should probably be a solid. That's a decent fight. Now, honestly, after what we just seen, I think Devin Haney doesn't. I don't think he looks to engage too much with JoJo. He's just gonna keep him at bay with the jab. He's just gonna box circles around him, and you don't want to mess up that bag, man, for Cambosis, right? You don't want to take unnecessary risks. We seen what happened. He got stunned last time versus Jorge Linares. There's no point to take a risk here. You can mess up that potential bag with Cambosis. So, with that being said, man, I'm going to head up out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you hit the bell notification button so you're notified every time I drop a video. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.